How about a story of intrigue? And yes, scandal. And yes, you are in the right place. This is an astrology channel, and I am going to tell you a little bit about intrigue and scandal. You see, because this is a story that relates to Mrigasira Nakshatra and will help you to understand a little bit of the energy connected to this particular section of the sky. And it includes a few characters, one of those being the moon. And the moon in this story, his name is Soma. Soma. Okay. And it also includes a character known as Brihaspati, which is Jupiter. Okay. So Brihaspati is Jupiter. So we'll just refer to it as Jupiter from now on. And Jupiter's wife, whose name is Tara, who represents the stars. Okay. So the moon fell in love with Tara. But the only problem is Tara, sadly enough for the moon, was married to Jupiter. So the moon was a sneaky little character, right? Moon is known as creeping, right? So the moon was trying to figure out a way to kind of be the back doorman, in this particular situation, and to kind of find a way of taking Tara away from Jupiter. So he convinced Jupiter to start his sacrifices early one day, right? And so that meant that Jupiter would be away and the moon could come out to play. And so the moon came in and he eloped with Tara, Jupiter's wife. And they begot a child together. I told you there was loads of intrigue and scandal. So do you have any planets in Mrigasira Nakshatra? If so, or if you want to learn about where certain planets are in relation to nakshatras in your horoscope, please feel free to schedule in one of my consultations. You can find those if you're watching this on YouTube at the link that you'll see above in this video. And if you're watching this elsewhere, it will be somewhere in the lower section. Now, Jupiter found out about this, right? And what ended up happening was he went to the gods and demanded that his wife be returned. But, Tara didn't want to go back. The moon didn't want her to go back either. So, Jupiter had to really push hard for for his wife Tara to be returned to him. And so by the time she was returned to him, she was pregnant with the moon's child. Okay. So the moon's child is Mercury. Okay. So Jupiter, even though Mercury was the child of the moon, loved Mercury as a son and took him into the fold. Now, here's some really interesting things in relation to this story. The moon relates to those things that we think that we need, but we sometimes, go after them in a needy manner, and we don't really need them. We're just needy, and we think we need something. Okay. Mercury's job being is how he's partially connected to the moon. He's a child of the moon, but he's also connected to Jupiter's wife, Mercury, and he was also raised by Jupiter. Mercury's job is to identify the potentials for the things that, really on a certain level are going to be good for our lives initially. Its job is the identification of those things. Its job is discretion. So if you take discretion and you apply it to the things that you need, you'll discover that some of those things that you think you need, you don't really need, and you're perhaps just being needy. Okay, so you're going, how does this deal with Mrigashira Nakshatra? Mrigashira Nakshatra has a process of separation and reintegration. Is this something that I need? That's how we're separating and we're taking a look at it. Reintegration, this is actually something that I need and not just something that I desire. And we see if that is something that works for us, right? So there's a process of separation, reintegration, separation, reintegration, going on with Mrigashira Nakshatra. So the point in the cosmic birth process that we're dealing with Mrigashira Nakshatra is the seed that is getting ready to come into being, that has been carried through Rohini, is now getting ready to enter the world with the recognition of the resources or the protection or the fullness that it thought that it had, the nourishment that it was hoping to receive may begin to wane. And just like, the moon being connected to Mrigasira Nakshatra, it's not the planet that rules Mrigasira Nakshatra, but it's the deity connected to it. Okay. So we go through this thing of somehow thinking that our resources are dwindling. What I need is not going to be there. What is going to give me nourishment may not be there. And so we then begin to kind of try to find ways to nourish ourselves with what we have at hand, right? To decide if this is something that I really need or is this something that I just really want. And we go through processes in relation to that with Mrigasira Nakshatra and any planet which might be connected to it. So let's take, for instance, if you've got a relationship planet in Mrigasira Nakshatra. When relationship planets are in Mrigasira Nakshatra, it can deal potentially to the separation and then the coming back together of the relationship. Career planets that are in Mrigasira Nakshatra can deal with this position may not work for me, and then you may find a way to reintegrate that skill into your life in the future. So there's the process connected with Mrigasira that deals with separation and reintegration. Is this something to keep? Is this something not to keep? And it's a process that goes on meanwhile with a feeling of lack and a desire for greater fulfillment, because we're seeking those things that are going to nourish us overall. If you're a newcomer to the world of Vedic astrology, let me know how easy you have found these videos to understand. I'm always happy to receive your comments and to hear your feedback. You can leave information in the comments section below. Thanks a lot. Bye now.